You know, we have the highest gas prices in all the country, the highest cost of living, and with the most insane smog regulations. Let us have one thing. And for me, it's cars. I haven't driven on this road in over 6 years, and it looks like they've redone it, and I am like just so sad I can't drive the car that I want to drive through here, the four-wheel drive V20 Civic, because of the smog regulations here.
Alright, what is happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. Hope out there's doing good, you feel me? So before I start this video, I want to point out to everyone that didn't pay attention in school, all this talk about Trump ending the CARB agency somehow with a magical Sharpie swipe is not possible. We literally just went over this civics lesson with the abortion thing. It's a state rights issue. Federal government can't tell the states what to do. That's how you end up in an authoritarian dictatorship. We don't have that here. Let's see here. I will make a separate video on that. I don't even know what that bill is called. I see all these people talking about this thing, and it's just every time I hear it, I'm just like, you guys never paid attention in school or to current events, because we literally just went over this. So anyways, moving forward, we're gonna go ahead and go over the Senate Bill 712 brought by a Republican senator out of California named Shannon Grove, I believe her name was, and it's got this famous person's name on it. You might have heard of him. Leno is co-sponsoring this bill somehow or something like that, and they're dubbing it Leno's Law. So that's that. Moving on, Senate Bill 712. Senate Bill 712 exempts 35-year and older cars from smog as long as they have a classic car insurance policy. Now, this is the elitist aspect of this, and it just goes to show how the people pushing the bill are out of touch because they don't have to abide by the rules the way us normies do. These insurance policies tend to have rules regarding the way you store your vehicle, such as having to have proof that it's garaged. The rich people like Jay Leno, he's got like one of the biggest personal garages on the planet, I bet, outside of, people in like Dubai or something. But these people don't understand that over 50% of the population rents and lives in apartment complexes. Only about 40% of people actually rent or own homes. So having a policy that requires it to be garaged or under a carport at least, that alone is already just, kicking down on the little guy. Let's see here. So if this really was a godsend bill like a lot of people on YouTube think it is, it wouldn't have this insurance hang up. Now, I'm all for the bill passing. I'm just pointing out this isn't going to benefit everyone like it should. And that's what you get when you have rich people making laws essentially just for themselves. So yeah, I'm all for this bill passing. The only pro with having a classic car insurance policy are the fees are much less, but the caveat to that is the stipulation that the car typically can't be driven more than like 4,000 or 5,000 miles in a year or something like that. Again, these are things that we're going to have to go into as the bill is passed. If it actually does get passed, we'll see how the state reacts to these things and how insurance companies react as well. We saw how they reacted to the fire danger in LA, and how they canceled all these policies and this and that, tried to jack the price up on them. So capitalism's going to capitalism here. So those are the major points, really. It's a short and not so sweet bill, but it's a step in the right direction. But it really just goes to show how out of touch these people are with, the people that they try to act like they align themselves with, the working man, the common man. I honestly don't have any idea how we only have two main parties here in this country, but I'm not, the way that neither of them represent us anymore and haven't for a long time. I'm not going to go on a political rant That's actually the reason I'm recording audio over this video, because I went out for a nice drive and I was like, you know what, we'll talk about this bill and it'll be a cool way to, talk about the bill. We'll call these type of videos like Toge and Talk, or Talk and Toge, or Toge, whatever it's called. I don't know, I'm white. Let's see here. I will go off on a small tangent regarding smog laws and how they don't make any sense. They seem to just be there to keep the lower middle class families down. The catalytic converters have to have this carb stamp on it, and all it is just a stamp, saying it's a carb compliant thing, and then they can jack the price up like 2 to 3 times the cost of its EPA equivalent counterpart. And then you have all the parts. You can't have an eBay intake, cold air intake on your car, even though it's just a pipe and a filter. You got to get a carb sticker on it, which jacks the price up because the car company has to go through all this meticulous experimenting and prove that their part is up to snuff, and then they just throw an asshole tax on it anyways. We all know that EPA cats function just about the same, or the same as the California one. And again, if California politicians were really for the little guy, they would understand that catalytic converter thefts in the state, in the country, but in the state in particular, are all-time high. There's hardly any consequences to that, but it could set a family back, for an entire year. You're talking about, if you got a V6, you got to replace 2 of these things, and you're talking about, $2,000, $3,000 plus to have a shop put these carb-specific cats on there, and it doesn't make sense. It's just a big cash grab. And I'm all for regulatory agencies going after the biggest polluters and the producers of energy, making sure that they're not poisoning the people in the air and the water around them, like they have big caught doing since the beginning of time. But this capitalist system depends on waste and programmed obsolescence to survive. And we live in a throwaway culture where they say, throw away a car, even though the ecological footprint of creating a car is huge, and they just expect you just to throw away these cars that you've had for years and already own. You know how to work on them. They don't want you to know how to work on anything. They don't want you to be able to fix anything. They want you to have to just keep buying, consume. If you haven't watched the movie They Live, you should check that out. And then also watch the movie Idiocracy, because that's what's going on right now. Anyway, let's see here. If you're rich enough, the government will give you billions of dollars to blow up spaceships in the atmosphere, littering debris and raw fuel and all these greenhouse gases directly into the atmosphere. But if you put a CRV swap in your 1991 Honda Civic, even if the motor is identical to an Integra motor, which you can have in your 91 Honda Civic after the state says you're a good boy, made it past visual inspection at the bar shop. See. And another thing about smog is the visual inspections are stupid. Outside of checking for smoke and making sure that the exhaust is intact, how is that part of an emission test? A smog test, if it's about emissions, should just be about emissions, what's coming out that tailpipe, period. Alright, end of rant. Moving on. This bill does not affect the current 1975 and older exemption. That stays the same, and if the bill's author had any wherewithal, they would have just made all OBD1 and OBD0 cars, blanketly exempt, because smog shops are getting harder and harder to find that actually still test these older cars. Now, it's harder to find shops that test these older cars because the shops basically have it's basically a Smog Plus premium subscription to the state of California to do business. They have to essentially rent or lease this equipment or the software or the program, whatever it is, out from the state. Every month they got to pay a fee for it. Now, if people like me aren't able to go and take their car in to Smog because they changed the rules and now my car is illegal, or the shop just simply doesn't do those smogs anymore, where do you go for them? You'd have to go shopping out of your city. and out of your county even, maybe, to find a place that'll still do these, because they have to pay a fee for this, and if they can't cover the overhead and make a profit, there's no incentive for them to keep offering to smog these cars that aren't coming in for smog anymore, is the point I was trying to make. So since cars older than 1996 they're so rare now as it is, even if it's the 2000s, they can't justify spending the overhead. They're just not making the money back on those jobs. In my opinion, they need to just go back to the rolling 30-year rule that the Terminator terminated here in Cali many years ago. That's just, cars over 30 years old don't have to smog them. They're grandfathered in. They've earned their keep. We're keeping the footprint down to just one car instead of replacing it. I'm just constantly replacing my car because the batteries in the hybrid went out or whatever. And if you watch the videos on my channel, you'll see that the car I'm driving right now is a hybrid. But it's like, how is keeping a car on the road using recycled parts from junkyard not the greenest thing you can do? It doesn't make any. These people don't make it. They don't even understand how big of hypocrites they are, or they do. They just spent so much time perfecting gaslighting, pun intended, greenhouse gaslighting us. Nailed it. First person ever to say it, I guarantee it. They're greenhouse gaslighting us into thinking that we're the problem, when all these corporations and people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all these other people can just blow up stuff and send all this shit into the atmosphere, and while they're getting billions of dollars of subsidy from our government, we're paying for these people to pollute our air. And the last I checked, I don't remember voting on that. I don't remember voting on billionaires being able to just do whatever the fuck they want to do. I don't remember voting for driverless cars on the road that just run over pedestrians and bicyclists. Google it, look it up. There's tons of deaths related to that. So, all right, stop going off on tangents. This is why I don't do videos on this stuff, because it just really just pisses me off. I have a hybrid in this. I'm driving a hybrid in this car. I have an EV. Those are my daily drivers. I love them. The EV is great. It's a great car. It just doesn't go far. It's an older EV, and this hybrid, I just saved it from certain doom. So, I would barely be driving the gas cars that I want to drive, is my point. I barely even want to drive them in the first place, even if I could drive them, because of how horrendous. Today's drivers have the worst driving skill I've ever seen in my 35 years on this planet. It's just horrible. So none of these things make sense in the grand scheme of things. And when we take a look at our current historical or classic car rules set by the bar or CARB or whoever, you can actually see there's other issues that might come up. You can only get these plates or insurance if your car is not modified. But I guess if the smog exemption is there, they can't really tell that you modified it. But I'll post the screenshots. You can read through them yourself and kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. Why there might be a little hang up here and there. Let's see here. There's still a lot up in the air on how the state will enact this poorly written law or bill, if by some chance in hell it passes. Because let's face it, Shannon Grove, the author of the bill, is a red tie, which means all the blue ties in California will immediately say no, because that's what the red ties do when the blue ties say something. This whole country's duopolistic system has become so tribal, and we need some common ground here, and this bill is a perfect first step on laying the groundwork for meeting somewhere in the middle on more things that will actually benefit the people here, because they're just not getting anything that benefits anybody but the rich done in this country and this state. The blue ties will say it's going to be bad for the environment, and that's why I laid out an argument that old cars have already paid their dues and the footprint has already been made, whereas if you're constantly getting a new car, you're exacerbating the problem, and in turn not really going green at all. The bill passing is not certain because of this, and just because of the ties, the parties. So, but one thing is for certain, if the people of California want to have some sort of freedom restored here, we do need to get together and back this bill. And I will tell you one thing, and not a single one of these videos have said on this topic, is the fact that you need to write to your representatives and tell them to vote yes on this bill. The California state legislature is made up of 2 houses, the Senate and the Assembly. There are 40 senators and 80 assembly members representing the people of the state of California. So if you don't know who you need to write to and you live in California, drop a comment with your city or county. You know, if you don't want to give up too much information, zip code, whatever, I don't know. And I will do my best to reply to you and let you know who represents you. And I will try to make sure to find their email at least, or a phone number, and reply to you in the comments. I'm also planning on making a letter template. You can just copy from the description of this video and paste it to an email and fill in your info where it applies to you and your representatives to make the process even easier. I'm doing the work for you, you guys. You just got to copy and paste and hit send. I am the only YouTuber doing this, so please make sure you share this video, comment below, and subscribe to my channel if this information provided helped you understand what's going on and want to be updated on this bill as it moves along in April, I believe, to the Assembly. And of course, if there's anything I missed or misconstrued, please comment below, and I will try to make corrections and post them in the description, you know, if I need to make them. But yeah, please comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of this driving video.
Go like 60 and 70 on these roads, dude. Especially with this, it's just like you're just up in the sky. I used to think I was like over talking, like saying like, oh, it's a mountain course, but this is pretty mountainous, very dangerous. Maybe I'll rip the e-brake coming back down out of the corner here. Got a little sideways there. This car does like to kick out. Imagine having that house where you can just get off the road and just drift into your home. Really? What a fucking idiot. There's the turn I wanted to drift though. ripping hard now.